Battle of abortion rights in this country. Oklahoma has passed a near total ban on abortion, outlawing the procedure from the moment of fertilization. And in nearly all cases, it is the most restrictive ban in our country, and it comes as the Supreme Court could soon overturn Roe v. Wade. There's a new reality for women emerging in Oklahoma. The state legislature has passed the country's most restrictive ban on abortion, relying on private citizens to enforce it.
Once signed, abortion will be illegal in Oklahoma, full stop.
The new law bans abortions from the moment of fertilization and in nearly all cases, except to protect the life of the mother or in cases of incest and rape, but only if those crimes are reported to police. ABC's Rachel Scott, noting how often crimes of rape and incest go unreported by victims, pressed the bill's author.
Well, the goal of this is to protect the child, the unborn child. So I believe that putting in the exception as we have it is acceptable in this situation.
Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has vowed to sign the bill into law, which would take effect immediately.
We want to outlaw abortion in the state of Oklahoma.
This law is enforced by empowering private citizens to sue anyone who assists in an abortion with a reward of at least $10,000, like a law passed in Texas last year. Abortion has been a constitutional right for nearly half a century now, but the new conservative supermajority on the Supreme Court could change that. According to that leaked Supreme Court draft opinion obtained by Politico, 5 of the 9 justices are ready to overturn Roe v. Wade and let states make their own abortion laws. Supporters of abortion rights, including Vice President Kamala Harris, warn of a new repressive era if the Oklahoma law becomes the norm.
And it represents a threat, not just to women, but to all Americans.
So that's the side of the Democrats, as voiced by the vice president. We have the author of that Oklahoma bill, Republican Representative Wendi Stearman, who joins us now. Thanks very much for being with us, Wendi. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So this is, as we say, it is the strictest abortion ban in the country. Walk us through why you wrote it this way, and does it reflect the majority of the beliefs of Oklahomans, do you think?
Well, the evidence that it reflects most of us is by the number of Republicans who supported it in our legislature. This bill does not outright ban abortion, but it does provide a civil action possibility for citizens in this state. We do have 2 other bills which will ban abortion when they go into effect.
And so this is modeled on that Texas law that the Supreme Court allowed to go into effect, which was designed to evade the scrutiny of federal courts by empowering private actors to bring lawsuits against anyone who would help a person obtain an abortion. But I want to ask about the definition. This begins at the moment of fertilization, correct? Is that, do I have that right? That any pregnancy that's terminated from the moment of fertilization would fall under this law?
Correct.
So I'm wondering about the number of fertilized embryos that are abandoned at IVF clinics around the country are in the millions upon millions. Many of them, no one knows how many of them are thrown out, just discarded every year. Does this bill impact that? And if not, why not?
It does not, because this bill defines abortion as terminating the pregnancy of a woman. It has nothing to do with what is going on in a lab.
So those fertilized embryos are not human life?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying what this bill does is allows for civil enforcement in the case of terminating the pregnancy of a woman. This bill is simply for civil enforcement, has nothing to do with determining whether or not abortion is a crime. That is left for other bills. This is intended to work in tandem with other legislation.
Got it. And I'd like to also ask about the question of ectopic pregnancies and miscarriages. There's a lot of talk about that. Obviously, those can be life-threatening. What is the threshold for a person who does have an ectopic pregnancy or a pregnancy that could be dangerous to her? What is the threshold? Is it clear? Are you concerned at all that defining pregnancy this way and writing the exceptions as you have, There may be doctors who are afraid of getting sued. There may be nurses who are afraid to participate in such a procedure simply because of the way this law is written.
No, I'm not concerned. There is actually an exception for ectopic pregnancies specifically, and it is left up to the doctor as to when an abortion is necessary to save the life of the mother.
Great. And then the question that Rachel asked you about exceptions for rape or incest. These crimes, as you well know, often go unreported, especially a rape through incest. Is this bill essentially requiring a 12-year-old who can't get to the police or is afraid to, is it forcing her to carry the child of her father who raped her to term?
This is not forcing someone in that situation to carry the child. There is the option to report to police. That is a very small percentage of pregnancies, and we're talking pregnancies. So no, this should not affect that. And if the child is able to pursue an abortion, my hope is that she would also be able to report it to the police.
And if she's not, then she's out of luck.
Well, I hope that anyone providing that abortion would assist that child in reporting it to the police.
So we have a hope and a wish and a prayer for that. Okay, so this bill is already receiving a lot of backlash. You've heard Vice President Kamala Harris there. And the president of the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists called it a, quote, blatant interference with the patient-clinician relationship, adding that it forces personal beliefs onto clinicians. Now, what is your take on that argument?
I believe that this has nothing to do with belief, but in fact science, and the fact that that child is a human being that deserves the right to life. And
I know that this is not a criminal law, but you are in the process, if the Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade, of having criminal laws on the books. Would that criminal law, do you agree, since any child in a pregnancy is the equivalent of a full human being with all the rights attendant, and an abortion is a murder, do you think women should be punished criminally if they get an abortion?
We don't have any legislation that would punish a woman. Every piece of legislation that we have allows for that exception.
But I wonder why not? If it is murder, why not indict and criminalize and penalize the murderer?
Well, there are people who would like to do that, but at this time we have no legislation that would do that.
And I'm just asking why not?
Why don't we have legislation that does that?
Yes, if that's your belief, if that's your belief, why not?
Well, I didn't say that was my belief, but I said there are people who would like to see that happen. I am not the one running that legislation, or has been. So why are we not? Because our goal right now is to protect the life of the unborn, and I believe that this bill will successfully do that just by the threat of a lawsuit.
And that is what its opponents believe as well, and it does go into effect. Representative Wendi Stearman in Oklahoma, author of this bill. Thanks very much for being with us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.